lesson, the publication?
Hopefully our last time too.
Oh, excellent. Not a problem. I don't mind. Actually, I say that. I do not run off anyway. Diana is. Anybody else need, everybody else got their book? Okay, great. We will grade the last one and then dive into adjectives. I got my iPad hooked up here so that hopefully you can take a look at what the book looks like. Yeah, and so we'll be able to go right down. I'll be able to show you on the book. You know, you can look here and look there and back and forth. And then I still have my board that I can write on. So it should be helpful. Let's first read our sentences from lesson 5. And then we'll dive into adjectives, lesson 6. And ought to be fun. Adjectives are always fun. You start to get large and small and fast and slow and first and last and fat and thin and, you know, all the things like that. So actually fast and slow would be adverse, but that's beside the point. Here we go. Apostolos didaskai parabolein tois anthropois.
The apostle, he is teaching a parable to the people.
Yes. The apostle, he is teaching a parable to the men, or to the people. Lapai hamathetes tan prophetein te ecclesia. Tricky.
You're seeing the disciple, the prophet in church.
Hamathetes. All right, here, let's start right off and let's just go through my pattern, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw our main line, and I'm going to ask you the question I will ask now 1,000 more times before Mother's Day, okay? What is my nominative?
Disciple.
The disciple.
Yeah.
So we write down mathetes. Yes? What is my predicate?
He is seen.
What is my accusative?
The prophet.
Do I have a locative, instrumental, or dative?
Yes. In the church.
Right there. The disciple, he is seeing the prophet in the church. By the church, under the church, over the church. Okay? 3 questions we always will ask ourselves. Okay? My nominative, my verb, is there an accusative direct object? And then if we get there, we go ideo. Then after that, all we do is hang our genitives and reflect our particles, and I mean, all of a sudden, it's done. Just like that. Okay? Hoi huioi ton anthropon, genoskusen agapein, kai alethian, kai tasgrafas.
The sons of the men, they are knowing love and truth and the scriptures.
The sons of the men, they are knowing love and truth and the scriptures. Yes, very good. If by the tongue, my tradition on this, I should tell you, is not to read the Greek New Testament. I just read it to you in English. Saves time. Then you can ask questions. If by the tongues of men I speak and or of angels, but love not I am having. Did everybody get something like that? Okay, good.
Wait, which one?
I just read number 4.
Oh, right.
Ha prophetes didaskai irenen kai alethian.
Prophet, he is teaching peace and truth.
Yep. The prophet, he is teaching peace and truth. Genoskai hamathetes hamartian kai legai lagos tes basilius.
He is knowing from the disciple sin and speaking words from the kingdom.
Yep. Now, the nominative, though, is the disciple. So that's got to be my subject. So even though it isn't the first word in the sentence, hamathetes, he is knowing sin and is speaking words of or about the kingdom. Okay? Ah,
How do you
peace
know-
offering.
How is that one nominative?
how do you know
Love that. What's that?
How do you know the disciple is nominative and not genitive, ablative?
The article. Where's your article card? What does that article look like?
I was pulling up that, the A to S.
Huh? Alright. Yeah, see, he is knowing. The disciple, he is knowing that this is definitely out of new, which is definitely accusative. Uh-huh. See?
But it ends in E.
Yes, it does end in native sigma because it is a masculine first declension. Tricky, tricky.
Let me interject here, because again, this is my second time trying this. He's going to said that over and over to me, I don't know how many times. Article, article, article.
Yeah.
Yeah, that article card I have learned this time around.
Yeah, is number one thing
So
to do.
important in finding out
Yeah.
what the noun that it is with is.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, memorize that article
Yeah.
card. Both of them. You got one for each declension.
Yep. And this is your, now this is your ending, but you also should make up an article card. There's your feminine article right here. But, here. Let me do it this way. I'm doing this the hard way, okay?
Okay,
Because I have it right here.
4-2.
Okay, here at the bottom of the page, yep, there's the article chart for first declension,
4-2.
and then 4-2, okay? 4. Yeah, look at there. Ha, and then 2, to, tom. So go ahead and make up an article card, and your ending is correct. The Omicron sigma is the ending for this declension, but the article is going to be the best first giveaway clue. So even though you have ending cards, and these work just as well for article cards, okay? And the end of the article is the same as the ending for the noun, except where it is masculine first declension, the one we're talking about. So you got caught on the exception. Don't feel bad about it. Okay? I'm reading next. Genoskai hameteton. That's what I just read, isn't it? Apostolos graphai tu oikou te ecclesia.
The apostle, he is writing in the house to the church.
The apostle, he is writing from the house to the church. Later, with the correct preposition, which by the way, we get in 2 weeks. No, is this 7?
6.
No, 6. Okay, yeah. Chapter 8 is prepositions. No, number 7 next week is something you already know. Talk about an easy lesson. I've already been teaching diagramming, and he talks about that next week. So, everything he talks about next week is what I started off with talking with you guys about. So, next week will be a pretty easy lesson. The next one will be marginally more challenging.
What did you say the answer to number 7 was?
The apostle, he is writing from the house to the church. And from, of, about, I mean, it could even be about, but you don't know that yet, because you don't have the prepositions that identify the nuances. And I think it makes most logical sense from and to. I mean, think Christmas card, right? From Santa to little Johnny. you know, that kind of thing. Okay, number 8. Hoi huioi genos gusen tenen to lane kai la gusen parabolain to aklo.
The sons there knowing the commandment and speaking the parable to the crowd.
Yes. Yep. Go ahead, if you don't mind, and keep your pronoun in there, just so that later you absolutely can't get it. So the sons, they are knowing the commandment, and they are speaking a parable to the crowd. You probably have it written down. And it never goes into your smooth translation, but I still want you to write the rough translation here. And I know I sound like that hated algebra teacher who said, show your work, which I didn't do either. But I do understand it with language, because it helps me then unravel maybe what you might need some reminder. Okay? The lucen lagain, note the infinitive. The lucen lagain, te latian, te scintillace.
They are willing to speak the truth of the commandment.
Mm-hmm. I would even, what did he give you for thelo? Wish or ought, or what did he say?
Wish.
Wish.
Or will.
Yeah, see, they are wishing to speak the truth of the commandment. I'd say wishing, but that's fine. Willing, they're willing. Yeah, willing's fine.
It's, they wish, or?
Yes, third plural. So they are wishing. You have to insert the pronoun because there's no nominative. See, when there is no nominative, you draw the subject from the verb. If there is a nominative, that's always your subject. But if there is no nominative, you got the middle sentence of the paragraph. So they refers back to something that's already been identified at the beginning of the paragraph. Okay? This next sentence is fun. Number 10. Kurion blepai ha angelas kai gedoskai tain hemeran erenes. Remember our order. Fair warning. I sound like the guy closing out an auction. Fair warning, I can sell.
The messenger, he is seeing the Lord, and he is knowing the day of peace.
Yep. The angel or messenger, he is seeing the Lord and he is knowing the day of peace. Does anything looks something like that?
Not that order.
Not in that order? Here we go. Let's just all memorize together. Nominative, verb, accusative, lid. I mean, it is always, 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 always. And it works out this way. When you're then doing your sentence, you know, your nominative always goes here, your accusative always goes here, your lid case always goes here, and then underneath is your genitive ablatives, okay? And they could be any of these. Oops. See? But it is here, now you finally get, I don't think I've said this yet. You get another one of my favorite sayings. If you do this right, Greek will fall apart like a piece of well-baked fish. Y'all like fish?
Now I'm hungry.
Now you're hungry, yeah. Hey, listen, imagine that nice big piece of ocean perch and you just put a little lemon and a little pepper and maybe even a little slab of butter and you just baked it about 8 minutes. And you just pull it apart with a fork. And that's what these do, is these form those seams and they will always, always, always work. Always, 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 always. Piece of well-baked fish. All right. Number 11. Kueta tein didaskein tu methetu kai genosketa tein duxan te spasilias. This will be a fun one.
Y'all are, no wait.
Mhm.
Y'all are hearing the teachings of the disciple and y'all are knowing the glory of the kingdom.
Yep. Well done. Y'all are hearing. I mean, if you use y'all, you ought to leave off the. I'm kidding. Y'all are hearing the teaching of the disciple, and y'all are knowing the glory of the kingdom. Very nice. Hoi propete legus and legus, aletius aklois interpone.
The prophets, they are speaking words of truth to the multitudes of people.
Mhm. Very good. The prophets, they are speaking words of truth to crowds of men. I always try to find the shortest way to say it. Yep, very good. Did yours look similar? Let me know if it didn't, because I need to explain something if it didn't. Did yours look similar? Doesn't have to be identical, but if it looks similar, you're in great shape. A geist huius kai legais parabolein ton graphon.
For loving the sons and speaking parable of the scriptures.
Very close. A geist is not agape. And you don't know the verb yet for that. That's agapao. You haven't had that yet, have you?
No.
Okay. A geist is ago, which is to lead. I lead or bring.
Oh, you're leading
So
the sons.
you are leading the sons, and you are speaking a parable from the scriptures, or of the scriptures, or even about the scriptures. Yeah. Yeah, the Greek verb for the noun agape, which you have, is the verb agapao, and it looks bigger than that. You're going to recognize it. But you haven't had it yet, I don't think. Okay. Questions? See, this is actually right now, and I like Greek. We're down now to the people who will hate quitting just a little bit more than they hate me. And that means we're in the right group, okay? I like this. This is fun. Then we get to know each other, we get to laugh at ourselves, and yeah, this is good. This is good.
Can you read 13 one more time?
I surely can. English or Greek?
English, please.
Okay. You are leading the sons, and you are saying or speaking a parable of the scriptures, or from the scriptures.
Thank you.
Must be down with class. My coffee just ran out. Thank you very much. Here we go. Genosgusen hoi methete, tone perfecton, tas intellas to kuriu. Oh, this is kind of tricky. I'll probably have to diagram this one. Which, if you've already noticed, I love to do. Throwing the genitives at you. You haven't had these yet, except for at the end of the accusative. Okay, from your hesitation, you are craving a diagram, right? I thought so. I'm just sensitive that way. All right, here we go. Now, it's important to choose just the right color. Let's see what I got here. All right, first of all, ooh, not that one. Boy, that is terrible. Let's try that again. Yeah, you don't want to be a pin at my house and not write. All right, here we go. What's my nominative?
The disciples.
The disciples, and it's in the plural. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, the disciples. What's my predicate?
You mean your verb?
Yep, I'm sorry, yes.
They are knowing.
They are knowing. Do I have a direct object? Do I have an accusative?
The commandments.
I think it is the commandments. Now,
Of the Lord from the prophets.
of the Lord, so the commandments of the Lord, let's do that one first. See, when you diagram it, you don't have to do it in order. You can kind of hang, it's like hanging Christmas bulbs, okay? You have the tree, you can put some on, you can take some off. You know, if you diagram it, you're not committed to anything until you say you're done. So what do I do with tone propheton?
You hang it under the disciples.
I think you do. Tone.
Sneaky, sneaky.
Yes, it is. Now let's read the sentence. The disciples of the prophets, they are knowing the commandments of the Lord. Now all of a sudden, it makes all the sense in the world, amen? Now here's a little tricky thing about a genitive, okay? These nominative, accusative, or even lid case, locative instrument, they go wherever they go because of what they are. Genitive, though, does fit whatever it's near. So proximity does matter to the genitive, not to the other ones. As we've already shown you, we can start off with the object and go to the predicate and then the subject. But genitive does matter. So it's not the disciples of the Lord and the commandments of the prophets. It is definitely because of proximity, the disciples of the prophets, they are knowing the commandments of the Lord.
Question.
Yes, please.
So it's because of proximity only, is there any other thing you can look at? Okay.
No. And you don't even know with single or plural or any of that because, like here, this is the commandments, but of single the Lord. So, no, there really isn't anything other than, but save those till last and then hang them where they make the most sense.
So it's because prophets was plural as well as disciples that you threw it?
No, I did it because of proximity. I didn't do it because these could have been the disciples of a single prophet, like Samuel.
Right.
So I don't know necessarily. So that's what I'm saying. You can't count on that. There are no other indicators except proximity for the genitive, but the other ones all fit where they go because of what they are. And they're all mainline. I'm not going to tell you never because I do know that there's the genitive absolute. And the genitive absolute can go up on the main line. So sure as the world, I'll say that the genitive never goes up on the main line. And then 6 months from now, one of you is going to remember I said that and call me out on it. Except for the genitive absolute. No genitive goes up on the main line. That always hangs off based on proximity. Okay? All right. Oh, this is fun. I'm telling you, this is just straight up fun, isn't it? Did you have more fun doing anything today? Okay, good. No, I'll take your silence as affirmation. Power he is having, the Son of Man, to forgive sin. I just read number 15. All the scribes agree?
Roman.
Roman. Akurios didaske ten ecclesian agape. Word you'll hear me say several times even from now on, and that is short sentences are actually harder than long sentences.
The Lord, He is teaching the church to love.
Uh-huh. I would probably in the scriptures take agape as lid case means.
Mean
By love.
by love, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, by with and to. So.
By, with, and to, yeah. And so, to love would be a destination.
Okay.
And boy, I would really want a different preposition for that.
All right.
By love, in love, with love. Yeah. Okay? All right.
And is it church or churches?
You tell me. Where's your article? Oh, your article cards. Who's got an article card?
I do.
I think it is too. Yep, good job. Okay? Yes,
Can you repeat number 12?
yes. Greek or English? The prophets, they are speaking words of truth to crowds of men. That make sense? All right, I gotta keep my voice because I got an hour and a half after this. All right, let's dive right into adjectives of the first and second declension. Now, the purpose of an adjective, just to be able to define each one of these words, the purpose of an adjective is to describe a noun. And that's the whole purpose. So, we are describing a person, place, or thing, and we are giving an attribute of that. Now, I want you to notice what happened.
Went to sleep.
Yeah.
This did.
Yeah,
Well, your
because there was
iPad did first, and then the TV did.
there was no input signal.
Okay.
It's too smart.
Yeah, it is too smart, that's exactly right.
It had plugged itself
It
to the
gets
wall.
an F for going to sleep in class.
There it goes.
Yeah, students go to sleep is one thing, and the machinery does, that's unacceptable. And it's still online. All right, you'll notice that on the vocab, let me get on the other side of this so I can point with my right hand and not block the screen. You will notice that the descriptions of each one of these, and there, of course, I'm on the wrong chapter. Okay, you notice that there are 3 forms. I'm going to give you a concept here, and forevermore this is true, okay? Your favorite health store, GNC. Gender, number, and case. Every adjective will match its noun, gender, number, and case. So, if it is the good man, man will be anthropos, and the adjective describing a good man will also be masculine. But if it's a good wife, gunes, you haven't had that word yet, this word will be agathe, because it will be feminine, matching gunes, the wife. Or if it's a good rock, I can't imagine a bad rock, but let's say it's a good rock. No, a good gift, doron. You've already had a neuter, doron, right? That's one of the neuter words you've had for gift. Doron? Okay, so it would be agathon doron, a good gift. So gender, number, and case, GNC. Now this is important because this actually follows you all the way through to your participles. It will match gender. I mean, you're going to hear me say that just like you hear me say, what's my nominative, what's my predicate? Gender, number, and case. Tell me gender, number, and case, because your adjective is always going to match your noun in gender, number, and case. Now, adjectives describe each one of these, and because they are now masculine, feminine, neuter all in one, they will match first declension feminines, first declension masculines, second declension masculines, second declension neuters. They match all 3. That's why there are 3 endings on there. You have agathos, agathe, agathon. What? I gotta change this. And then you have agapetos, agapete, agapeton, agias, agia, agian, alas, ale, ala, dikaios, dikaya, dikayon. I mean, every one of them.
Allah?
Yeah, well, actually, that's a word for alloy. Another of the same kind.
So like Allah.
No, not that kind of Allah. That actually comes from Hebrew, and that is from Elohim.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that Arabic. Arabic more closely resembles Hebrew than Greek. Not that I'm fluent in Hebrew, or Arabic. I am fluent in Hebrew. But, you know, eschatos, eschate, eschaton. So you all have right across the way here, heteros, hetera, heteron. Every one of those 3 will match whatever noun it modifies, gender, number, and case. Every time. Every time, every time, every time. G and C, okay? Now, he gives you in the next box, and I'll show it to you here on the book. He gives you in the next box a collection of examples. See those 3 examples? Because not only does it match in gender, number, and case, it also matches in the case to the noun. So if it's from the man and it's from the good man, agathos will be genitive masculine, agathu, or agathois, or agathon, any of those. So you have what matches gender, number, and case. So it's going to match gender, masculine, feminine, neuter. It's going to match case, nominative, genitive, ablative, locative, instrumental, dative, accusative. And it's going to match number, single or plural. You're never going to have the good single men. You'll have the good plural men. The good single man. See, you won't ever have plural descriptive with a single noun. It'll always match. Gender, number, and all three will match. Gender, number, and case. All right? All right. Now, there is one other thing about the use of an adjective. And that is on 6.4. And then we'll go back and read our vocab. I've already read some of them to you, but I'll read the vocab to you. And once I explain this, then I'll read the vocab, and then I'll read a couple of sentences. Okay? Now I'm going to give you something here that is not in your book, but I have found it to be immensely helpful. Okay? And again, I love saying to you, always, always, always. All right? Because that means that you can count on it. Always, always, always. Well, first let me explain it. Attributive, predicate, and substantive. Okay? I'm in this gray box right down here at the bottom. I'm in the gray box in your book. And it has to do with how an adjective is used. If I say the good man, I'm giving you an attribute of that man. So we refer to that as attributive, the good man, the good dog. But if I'm actually trying to describe the state of that dog, his existential existence, he is good. So I say the dog is good. I'm inserting a verb. We call that our predicate use of an adjective. The difference between the good dog and the dog is good may have the difference between whether he is not biting or if you've just eaten him. Boy, that was a good dog. You know? But see, that's not, I mean, that's a whole different thing than saying this is a good dog. He won't bite. So you have an attributive or an attribute of the noun, or you have the existence or the predicate use where you have to insert the word is or are or whatever to make it make sense in English. Okay? So the good dog or the dog is good. That's the attributive or the predicate. Now, here's how you say, wow, how am I ever going to tell the difference? Here it comes. You ready for this? This is so simple. Watch this. Watch this. A. If there is an article plus the adjective, it equals attributive. Okay? Now, here's how extreme I'm going to say this. If there is an article in front of every other noun in that sentence, except the adjective, not true. It's predicate. And conversely, if there is only one article in the entire paragraph, but it's sitting in front of that adjective, that's attributive. It is just that simple. So, all you have to remember is A. When you're doing your sentences, you're going to ask the question, I'm going to be right there on your shoulder, annoying, saying, is there an article in front of the adjective? You say yes, well then it's attributive. Is there an article in front of the adjective? No, well then it's predicate. Just that simple. If there is no article in front of the adjective, you're looking to use a linking verb, is, are, something like that. If there is an article in front of the adjective, then it's attributive. Always, 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 always. And this is important because this comes up a couple of times later on even, especially again in participles. Okay? So don't lose this lesson. You'll hear me bring this exact thing back. Now, I will tell you that the rarest form of adjectives is one of the most familiar forms in participles, and that's this third category. Did it go away? Yeah, it did. I can tell because it's gone here. I gotta fix this. It'll run my battery down, but at least it'll stay on. Yes, there's a signal. Wait for it. Thank you. The substantive. Now, y'all know the Clint Eastwood movie, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Right? No? It's not very good. I wouldn't rent it. Don't pay anything for it. It'll come up on TBS sometime.
They're not
It
old
always
enough.
does. What?
They're not old
I
enough
guess
like you and
not,
me.
yeah, see, I wasn't really gonna point that out, but, okay, I'll be embarrassed. The good what? The bad what? I mean, you know, it's a Clint Eastwood Western, so it's the good man, the bad man, and, the ugly lady, I think. I really don't remember now myself. Maybe it's an ugly bad man too. I think maybe it was, now that I think about it. Anyway, you can use an adjective as the subject. So what's going to happen is you're going to have a nominative, adjective, and no noun. So here's how this looks. I'll finish this off. Without an article, it equals a predicate, the use. And without a noun, it equals the substantive use. In other words, the adjective becomes the noun. Okay? That make sense now? For instance, I would say, oh, by the way, you may want to insert a word to make it make sense in English. For instance, 100 people went out for basketball. How are we going to choose a team of 5? And you say, well, we'll know the good ones when we see them. Well, you just used an adjective as a substantive, whether you know it or not. Every one of those had names. And that's what you just did. You actually did use an adjective as the substantive in your sentence.
Is one's not a noun?
Ones is never in the scriptures. I'm saying you will probably want to supply the word ones or things or something like that, especially in the neuter. It's, you know, because to make it make sense in English, we have to have some kind of a thing. And so ones is a noun, but it's not in the scriptures. We're supplying it to make it make English sense. So now, you know, like I say in the movie title, they didn't say the good ones, the bad ones, the ugly ones. You know, they actually said the good, the bad, the ugly. But the adjective is important because it describes a noun, whether it's an attribute or a description of its existence, or in rare cases, the adjective itself can be the subject. And he will do that in some of your lesson coming up. Okay? If I go with the vocab, and then I think we'll read like 2 or 3 sentences, and by the 3rd sentence, I think he has one, and I'll show you what it looks like so that you're not messed up by that. Okay, I am reading in 6.1, please. Are you ready? Did you have your book? Did I give you a lesson? So sorry. There you are, sir. Agathos. Agapetos. I'm reading just that top square. Agathos. Agapetos. Word number 3. Agios. Alos. Now, did you hear? Hagios, there's I put a slight H in it. Alos, no H. Okay? The Kaios. Ekastos. Eschatos, as in eschatology, correct. Study of last things. Heteros, as in another of a different kind. I mean, you have heterodoxy, which is a substitute of orthodoxy. Kainos, which, by the way, when you buy your Greek New Testament, it will say Kainos diatheke, the New Testament. Kakos, Oh, you can tell by the way I said it what that means. That's bad. Coloss, as in colossal. Beautiful, good.
Awesome. Large. It's gonna mess me up.
Yeah, it is. Well, like colossa, it did. It meant big or beautiful or good. I mean, more is better, right? Isn't that what we always say? So, okay. Mikros, as in micro. Monos, as in monoplane, one wing. Necros, there'll be all kinds of things this month. Necropolis, city of the dead. You've heard that? Necromancer, one who loves death. Holos, as in hologram. Holistic medicine. All those words. Pistos. Pistos. Poneros, as in pornography. And protos, as in prototype, first. Do I need to repeat any of our vocab? All right. I am on 6.5, and I'm going to read a couple of sentences. I think, let's see, my clock's not too far off, is it? I finally got my clock put up. Yeah, it's a couple minutes slow, isn't it? Yeah, okay. I need to readjust it. Okay, here we go. I said it yesterday, just kind of on the fly. Yeah, I'm looking at yours. That's what made me realize it was a couple minutes slow.
They match.
44? Maybe my ankle. Looked like it was a little below that.
yeah.
All right, here we go. Agapetos methetes kuaitus agathus lagus. The beloved disciple, he is hearing the good words. Now these sound like real sentences now, don't they? I'll read it again. Agapetos methetes kuaitus agathus lagus. The beloved disciple, he is hearing the good words. Agaitan mananwian to mikro wiko. He is leading the only son to the tiny house. He is leading the only son to, I suppose it's the little house. I don't know that there's any prairie involved, but he is leading the only son to the little house. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God. Kake hamartia, kai hevasalia agathe. Sin is bad, and the kingdom is good. Now, notice that there is no article in front of either of those adjectives. So far I've had articles in front of my adjectives, right? Agapetos, in the first sentence, had an article in front of the adjective. So it's the good disciple. Tus agathus lagus, the good words. That's attributive, just like my little chart up here says. But in sentence 4, kake hamartia, kake has no article in front of it. So it is definitely a predicate use. So, bad is sin and the kingdom is good. That's how I read that. Okay?
Capitalize proper nouns and use that considered proper.
Nope. Nope. Basili is just a 3-piece consonant. It's not a capital. Blepoman, tan kakan karpan kai, tan kalan artan. We are seeing bad fruit and the good bread. We are seeing the bad fruit and the good bread. I've read more than I meant to. I'm sorry. I have to read number 8, though. I have to. Are you ready? And then I'll be open for questions for 4 or 5 minutes, and then I gotta get into the other room. Number 8, apostolos genoskai tous dikaios ta kai tas dikaios. The apostle, he is knowing the righteous and the righteous. I have 2 adjectives, but what don't I have this time? I have articles. I don't have any nouns. So here is a substantive use of an adjective. Twice, actually. So I'm going to give it to you, okay? Because this is the one that trips everybody up every time I do this lesson. So I'm going to give it to you so that you recognize it in other sentences. The apostle, pardon me, the apostle, he is knowing the righteous men and the righteous women. Now, I could, as I suggested, go ahead and say ones and ones, but that doesn't help you any here because it just sounds like he repeated himself, the righteous ones and the righteous ones. So I can even make one more assumption based on gender, that the righteous are men. And then the second one is feminine, so the righteous are women. That's what happens. So I've given you now examples of all 3. I've given you several of the attributive, where the article precedes the adjective, telling you it's attributive, AAA. And then I've given you one example of a predicate where there is no article in front of the adjective. And so the noun is something, or if it's plural, it'll be are something. And then finally, I gave you the one example on number 8 of the adjective being used substantively, where the apostle, he is knowing the good men and the good women. It just keeps getting easier and easier, doesn't it? Have you noticed that? Do you feel like you're running downhill like this? Okay, what are your questions? What am I not teaching you clearly? What are you not getting? I'm sorry. Anything? We're all good?
I do have one.
Please.
Homework from last time. On
Yes.
Number 12.
Yes?
The word aletheia.
Yes?
We put words of truth, and why do we have of truth? Because I didn't see that in
go to your feminine. Number 12, the prophets, they are speaking words of truth. Yeah, right there. Well, no. See, this is alpha iota sigma. This is iota alpha sigma.
Yeah, but the different one that we had look at here.
Alpha iota sigma. Oh, right. That's one of the ones in the first declension where the ending consonant doesn't take just the eta. So, but here's the rule on that. Go back to your diphthongs. The alpha iota is the eta sound. I-L-A. And so, see, that's a diphthong. Whereas the iota alpha is not a diphthong. The alpha iota is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good question. Any other? It's single, though. Yeah. The truth, or truth. The words of truth. Not truths. Any other questions? Well, I mean, I thought I'd go till 5 till. I could stall. I could tell you some jokes.
The, in the by, with, and to.
Yes,
So the to is, for you, is a designation of location?
yes.
Okay.
Rarely will it be, now I'll tell you what's gonna happen here. Ron, what you're gonna get is you're gonna get, later on, you're gonna get a hati and henna clause, because what you were actually translating that as is called purpose or result clause,
Right.
to or toward, to a purpose, to an end.
Right.
And that would be a purpose clause, and that'll actually be very clearly marked with a hati or henna.
All right.
So, okay? Anything else? Heard the story about the lion that escaped at the circus? He ate one of the clowns, but he didn't eat anymore because it tasted funny.
Mm,
I got a lot of them, but I don't think you really want to hear anymore, do you? All right, let's go to church this morning.